So after I crashed the truck, I pretty much had no other option.
I failed the entire semester. Mum and dad withdrew all support.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like this is really happening. I'm leaving all across the world.
Even in Hua Hin, like a small kind of town, like was able to scale the business like really well.
When I hit the 10K a month, I rewarded myself with like a Versace rope. I have like different rewards. You have like the same thing. Like if you hit a certain amount, you have a reward. Mr. Mike, how are you?
Good, bro. How you doing?
Very good. Very good.
What's happening?
Nothing much, bro. Just got done with a few sales calls. About to hit the gym a little bit later on. How do you like Bangkok compared to Hua Hin?
It's busy. I've lived here before for a couple months, but just like to come up for raids.
Yeah,
with my mate, see some friends, buy some stuff. Then back to the coast.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What was the first time you went to Hua Hin in the first place? Like, was it like a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, it's about a year and a couple months. So I lived in Bangkok for 4 months. Got a little bit burnt out. I was like, sweet, we'll just go to Hua Hin for a month, check it out. You know, it has a beach, it's chill. Then I ended up staying for a whole year. Yeah. Then I tried to move back to Bangkok in December. Signed a like 1 year contract. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna live the Bangkok life again. You know. Then I was like, fuck this, and just went back to Hua Hin, cancelled the contract. Yeah. And just felt amazing again.
Yeah. You said it like felt like home. Like you can't really describe the feeling, but it's like an inner calling. Like that's like where you belong, kind of.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you first leave home and like travel around, travel you kind of get burnt out eventually, and you're like, cool, like I want to just lock in on business and like build some friendships and stuff like that. Yeah. So you're kind of thinking like, okay, cool, it needs this, it needs that, it needs like shopping malls, it needs like a beach, like depending on who's thinking. Yeah. And I was trying to like analyze it based on like what I thought, and then I just got to Hua Hin and it was just a feeling of like, okay, this feels like home. So I just disregarded my thoughts and just like trusted my intuition and my gut. And even in Hua Hin, like a small kind of town, like was able to scale the business like really well. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, fair enough. And when did you actually like leave like your town where you were originally from, like New Zealand? Was that like almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was October 2023.
23. Okay, and you're like 29, 31?
I was 29 at that point.
29.
About to turn 30.
I got you.
Yeah.
Like most 29-year-olds, they're just like, okay, well, I'm on the right track in my like corporate job. Like I just want to stay here. It's stable. I got money coming in. There's no reason for me to take the leap and try something else. But like, what was it for you? Because that's like not normal. That's like a pretty big risk for like most people your age.
Yeah, for sure. I just didn't want to turn 30 in that life because I've been living it for so long, and I wanted to do what I've done for about 5 years now. I was hustling after work at the corporate job, like trying to make money online. I was making like $1,000 for 5 years. Yeah. And I was like, shit, like, is this ever going to happen? Like, and I just made a pact with myself, like, I'm not going to wake up on my 30th, like in my corporate job doing the same old stuff, and haven't looked back since. Yeah.
And how has it been compared to like, before then, when you were just like in the corporate world to now where you're like driving motorbikes to the mountains, doing Muay Thai? I mean, you KO'd right, like in your first Muay Thai fight?
Yeah, TKO'd.
Yeah. So I mean, would that have ever happened if you never left?
Nah, I'd be living the same life basically. And like you see guys that are in that corporate job, and like everyone's different. Everyone has different values. My main values are like freedom, adventure, self-sufficiency, autonomy. I guess like libertarianism type vibes. So that lifestyle it was such a misalignment with like who I truly was. And for some people it's in alignment with what they want to do, and that's cool. But for me, I was like, nah. Yeah. But life just feels like real now, as opposed to like insulated. You just go to your corporate 9 to 5, like as long as you don't do a like bad job, like you'll still be able to get paid, still be able to eat food. So yeah, it's been awesome since I left.
Yeah, sounds good, bro.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
So I mean, in terms of like Bangkok right now compared to Hua Hin, right? What do you say is like the main difference for you? Is it just like I know like the air quality is pretty shit here compared to Hua Hin. It's a lot less busy there, a lot more kind of coastal vibes. But like for you, like what was the deciding factor between Bangkok and Hua Hin?
Bangkok and Hua Hin. Well, yeah, like I said, when I moved there, it just felt right. I booked a 1 month with my mate, Jared, that you've met.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
He's the man. And then I was like, hey, let's do another month, because when I first started traveling, I was doing like 3 days in a place. Then in a couple months, I was doing like a week or two in a place, then a month in a place. And I just slowly pushed out how long I was staying in places as I slowed down the travel. So we did a month in another place in a nice condo by the beach, like beachfront condo. It was beautiful. And then I did a month somewhere else, kind of inland. Then I was like, hey, let's do a 6-month a villa.
Yeah.
So I booked a 6-month villa, which was the longest time I'd booked. And it just felt amazing. Like, it was a 3-bedroom pool villa, had an office. It was like 400 New Zealand dollars, which was about 200 USD a month.
Oh my goodness. That's a cheat code.
Yeah. 3-bedroom pool villa with an office, a nice master bedroom, ensuite, and a pool. And I just locked in, and just every day, just on the motorbike. For me, like driving the scooter to work and like to the gym, it's like my meditation. So when you don't get that in Bangkok. The vibe's just too intense.
Yeah.
So like throughout the day, like you'd be working, but you'd also have those moments of like peace and like gratitude when you're just cruising through the mountain. I just love that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And if it gets boring, I can just come up to Bangkok, like
see
some of the guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. And like when you go to lock in on work, like what do you actually do for work right now?
So right now we're doing lead generation for construction companies. So we mainly do Google Ads and SEO type stuff. Rank a website #1 in Google.
Yeah.
Get all the leads for it. Like if people are typing concrete driveways, Texas or something.
Yeah.
And we'll just find someone, send them all those leads. And as long as their phone's ringing, then mine's not.
They're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. And how long have you been doing that for? I know you said you were like making 1,000 in 5 years. Was that like from the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much like digital marketing stuff. So in my corporate career, I was doing digital marketing, and I did a really good job because I knew that everything I learned, I'd be able to apply to my own business one day. So after work, I was setting up websites and doing Google Ads stuff, but I just never had there's a concept called death ground in a book called 22 Strategies of War that was interesting to reflect on last week. And basically it says when you put your troops, your soldiers on death ground, where like the odds are stacked against them, like they're enclosed, for example, that's when they like fight with the most like valor. And because I just stayed in my corporate job and I didn't really have that death ground feeling of like having my back against the wall, that's why I was just on like $1,000 a month trying to figure stuff out on my own. And since being in death ground, leaving the corporate job and firstly starting in Vietnam and traveling, I think the growth has been like exponential.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, kind of like burning the boats, like what's the name, like Cortez in like 18, or no, it was like way earlier on, but like when your back is against the wall, you have to make it work, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I think your story is so interesting because, you know, I was 29, about to turn 30. I had, I think, $30,000 saved. I was already making, by the time I left, I was making about 5 to 8K USD because I joined a mentorship. So I had 30,000 saved, already had money coming in. I was about to turn 30. And you, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were down, I think you came over with what, 2,000 USD?
Yeah, like 1,500, like on the dot.
Yeah. So you were 19. Yeah. 20.
I think, I was 19. I was 9. No, I was 20. I was 20 for sure.
Yeah. So you're 20, you had $1,000 US, no active income. Like what was life like before you left? What made you take on such a big risk? And like, what was your like mind state like in that period?
I just felt like I was a bird trapped in my nest. I couldn't be able to fly. Like I was living with my parents. They were like paying the bills. I was pretty much babied, which I'm pretty grateful. You know, they were like not putting any pressure on me. But of course, like as a man, you got to put that pressure on yourself. Yeah. Which in turn, like leaving the nest and making things happen on your own, which is why I like wanted to come out here to like test myself to see who I really was, because being in that comfortable nest where I wasn't able to challenge myself and everything was just kind of handed to me. Yeah. I wasn't able to like see myself as like who I wanted to be, because I wanted to have my like own place, have girls over, travel, make money online. And I was not pretty much incentivized to do that in my home with my parents. Yeah.
So you had like a vision of like a different version of yourself, and you couldn't do that in Texas, or you wanted to do that in Thailand? Like,
yeah, I was in Georgia. I was like working like pretty much same thing. But I was working like Red Lobster, which is like the seafood restaurant, as a server, working with a lot of MILFs. Yeah. And then a racetrack, I was listening to some old Indian fat guy like tell me to go take out the trash, which like would leak all over the place. It was a very miserable time. I was working from like 5 a.m. until like 10 p.m. at night at both of these jobs. Yeah. Just to kind of show myself like what the reality would be like if I didn't take the risk, if I just settled to where I am. Yeah. Like where I was. So I just like taking the risk. It was like really no risk in my eyes, because like the only like loss I would take would have to go back to like where I was in the first place.
Okay. So when did you make that decision to leave? And then how quickly did you book a ticket and actually leave the US?
Yeah. So after, to go back a little bit, I worked at this contracting job, just installing gutter guards on gutters. Do you know what those kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was got a client. Yeah.
So I was like carrying 40-foot ladders, working in like 100-degree Fahrenheit heat.
Wow.
Pretty much it was like hell on earth pretty much. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. Got paid pretty well. But then I like crashed my truck, which was like how I got to work and to and from work. So I was pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But that was like a universal sign that I had to take the risk and get out there. So after I crashed the truck, I pretty much had no other options. And that was like June.
Yeah.
So I booked a flight after I sold what was rest of that truck. I had like $2,000 left from the truck, booked a flight, paid off the rest of the debt for the truck.
Yeah.
So then I had $0 after I booked a flight. But luckily enough for me, I had a very good, powerful connection.
Yeah.
Who was like this ex-drug dealer.
Yeah.
So I was like pretty good friends with him. He was like my only mentor at the time, funny enough.
Yeah.
But we were having coffee this one morning and I was telling him of my vision, my goals of like coming out here to Thailand.
Yeah.
And he knew my situation. I was pretty much like flat broke. So I was like, yo, man, if you need 1,500, 3,000, if you need any money, let me know. No interest. Just give me a timeline of like when you can pay me back.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, man, I sent 1,500, make it. I'll pay you back in a year.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Interesting. Well, what was kind of going through your mind like leading up to leaving? Because I know for myself, like after booking that ticket, if things got real, and I gave myself a 6-month window, and the week leading up, and then I actually picked up, like I was quite stressed, so I picked up vaping again. Like leading up to leaving, I was feeling like quite anxious, a little bit excited, anxious, stressed, a little bit. And then the day of leaving, I was like let's go. It's time to fucking enter the unknown.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. So like, what was your mindset like? What was going through your head like leading up to leaving, like months out, weeks out? Because it sounds like the turnaround time was very quick for you. Whereas me, it was
like 2 months or like a month and a half.
Yeah.
But I just kept quiet. I didn't tell anyone except my best friend at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell my parents until like 2 weeks, just so they didn't like talk me out of it or kind of anything like that. So I kept quiet about it until like the last 2 weeks. And then that's when it like really happened, especially when my passport arrived in the mail. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like this is really happening. I'm leaving all across the world.
Yeah.
To like go try somewhere new. But just like the same as you, like it was pretty nerve wracking. So like smoked weed a little bit, drank a little bit just to kill off the, the edge.
Yeah.
And then, when like I was actually on the way to the airport, I was like, oh shit, we're about to burn the boats, travel across the world and make shit happen.
Yeah, yeah. How's it feeling like at the airport? Like when shit gets real? Because my parents dropped me off. I was 29, like, obviously way older than you.
Yeah.
That's why I find your story so interesting because, it's so similar. But like, I had, big amount of stuff, like money, sold shit, already had money. And you were just like, fuck it, let's go. So you must have had like an amount of confidence, or were you just like, I just cannot go back to like Red Lobster?
Yeah, I just had like the mindset like I had nothing to lose. Like, I'd rather like die in like a city alone and with nothing going for me, as long as it was like on my own terms instead of like dying and living for someone else. Yeah, I'd rather have option A, where I would just be living on my terms, doing what I want to do, even if it meant my failure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It reminds me of a quote that resonated with me from 300, the movie, and Leonardo says, you don't have a cough. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. That sounds what you're saying there. Yeah. I mean, like looking back on it, there's like really no other option but to win, especially like coming out to Bangkok. As you already know, there's a lot of digital nomads out here. Yeah. A lot of people already making it. So it was like literally just a matter of time before, if you guys are like thinking about going to like Miami, Thailand, Dubai, like you're going to make it as long as you like give yourself enough time. Like 6 months is pretty much all you need to make it, as long as you have the grit and the determination to make it through those tough times. Yeah. What if you could change anything from the point of deciding to go, and then let's say that the first, because how long did it take for you to close that appointment setting role? It took about like 3 months. Okay. Yeah. But would you change anything from booking that ticket to that first 3 months of like getting money in the door? I would say do what Marcus did, actually get money coming in before you go. I thought I was going to have money in because I landed this offer before I left, and it was very promising. I had very high hopes for it to like provide me income. Yeah. But the reality was the first month of like dialing and setting appointments, I made a flat $0. Yeah. So maybe get like a few hundred to a few thousand coming in before you book your ticket. But it entirely depends on like who you are. If you just want to risk it for the biscuit, put everything on the line, then just go whenever you want to go. Yeah, I think it's a fine balance, because we meet a lot of guys through the network that come here
and they have to go home because they run out of money. They're not making money. They didn't have enough savings. But then you take someone like me, like I'm one of the older guys in the network, and my only regret in life is not doing it sooner. So yeah, I think striking a balance between taking a risk and then, you know, waiting too long. Because if I made the jump earlier in life, I would have progressed way quicker. You know, I'm 32. You know, I want to have a family when I'm like 36, 37. So I feel like I've only got a small window to like enjoy the fruits of the labor, like the freedom, the fun. So that's my only regret.
Yeah. I mean, you've made it now. So, I mean, there's really like no regrets because like, let's just say you did wait another 10 years or you broke the pact with yourself. You could still be Marcus 1.0, still working the corporate job. So, I mean, you still made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. That's literally the only regret in life. Like usually I like to live life with no regrets because there's always like a lesson or a learning from everything that you go to. I feel like that's just the way that you have to view life as it happens to you or as you happen to it. But yeah, maybe I might reflect on that, like making the jump at 29. Maybe it's like wisdom or something. I don't know. But yeah. So how did you feel like the first month or two up until closing that job and then tell everyone? Because this is honestly the coolest story. Like honestly, I tell everyone that Ryan's story is like so fucking awesome. And then tell us a story about running out of money, doing the 4-day fast, and the emotions throughout that period.
So I mean, when I first came to Bangkok, I was spending baht like it was Monopoly money because I didn't like see the value of like the 1,000 baht. So like every night I would spend like 1,000 baht on like these buffets. Like, oh shit, this is so cheap. But then looking at my wallet, I was seeing like the baht being depleted each and every single day. So I was like, oh shit, I actually got to save some of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, after a few weeks, it was going downhill very fast, especially because the second or third night I was here, I met my current girlfriend now, which probably wasn't the best financial kind of thing I could have done then, but I think it did actually help me in wanting to stay here because I really liked her, didn't want to leave. So I think she was like a part of like me wanting to like fight everything I had to stay here.
Yeah.
But yeah, as the money went down, it was close. It was like $100. I told my girlfriend to go back to university, go back to her dorm until I sort things out.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, when I had to fast. But yeah, at the time, my mindset was like still like the NPC kind of bot mindset, like the scarcity mindset. Like I'm running out of money, running out of options. Like, what do I do? Like worrying so much, I did not even do like any work to actually find an offer.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because I was like so worried about the money like going away. I was thinking of like how I could save.
Yeah.
And then when I hit zero, that's when I was like, okay, well, I can't really save any more money.
Yeah.
Like I just got to do everything I can in order to find an offer. And that's like when I think the switch went off in my mind to like the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset. Like the money will just come as long as I keep working and keep doing the best I can each and every single day.
Yeah.
And then like a few days later, I mean, I have the 4-day fast on my YouTube. So, I mean, you guys can go watch that. But yeah, after the 4-day fast, started connecting, started networking out here in Bangkok, connected with the right person at the right time, landed this gold mine offer for this day trading offer.
Yeah.
And the first night of setting, it took a few more days to like start the offer because they're like brand new.
Yeah.
But the first night of appointment setting, I was calling, dialing, no answers. And then one person finally picked up.
Yeah.
And luckily enough for me, it was like this guy who was like pretty much already ready to buy. He was like crying pretty much on the phone, like all the problems he was dealing with.
Yeah.
So I was like looking at all the problems he was telling me on that setting call. I was looking at the offer stack of like what we actually could help him with. Yeah. And everything kind of lined up. And in my mind, it made a connection. I was like, oh, snap. Well, I'm not going to set this guy. I'm just going to go ahead and try to close this guy right here, right now.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And at the time, the chief sales officer at the time, he knew of my situation. I was like flat broke, hungry. Yeah. And he just sent me this commission straight. It was like $250, a $2,500 sale right there.
Yeah. And
he sent me the commission straight away, even though usually it's like a bi-weekly period of when they actually pay you out.
Yeah.
So that was really good of him. And then the offer owner sent me another $50 just as a bonus for getting the first sale on that offer. So it was like the dopamine hit was maxed out. I was looking at the sunrise, like, oh shit, we finally made money.
The sun was rising.
Yeah.
Because I remember you and Tano used to work evenings and then work till the sunrise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like as the sun was rising, I was like calling my mom. I was like, yo, finally made money. Tides have turned. It's time to grind.
How did you feel at that point?
Felt pretty relieved because I was like, oh shit, well, I'm tired of fasting. Like it's time to eat again. So yeah, after that, I pretty much just bought a steak, enjoyed myself, got my girlfriend back over to my apartment, and then things just kind of went uphill from there.
Yeah. Sure. They've definitely continued to like push up for you as well.
Yeah. It was very. very grateful time looking back at it. But during that time, I was like, when I was like going broke as well, that scarcity mindset, with the scarcity mindset, I was looking at all the other people in the network at the time.
Yeah.
Like making money with OFM, like, oh shit, bro, why don't I just switch to OFM?
Yeah.
Even though it was like kind of against my morals.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, how's this guy making $100K a month and I'm making $0 a month? Like trying to actually do good things.
Yeah.
So I was like, kind of like, that wasn't a good mindset to have.
Yeah.
But it obviously switched after that rock bottom point.
Yeah.
But I was like, why can't I do the exact same thing? So I was like sticking to my morals, trying not to go to like OFM or any other shady business where it's like kind of detrimental to society. Yeah. And just stick to remote sales, and it worked out in the end. Yeah,
yeah. But what was that rock bottom moment, if you don't mind sharing? Like, you know, were you in your apartment, like looking at the ceiling, or were you just like stuck in bed? Because I know I've had moments before leaving, and few and far between since leaving, that like you just for me, I sleep in. Like if I'm feeling like hopeless or like not good, I'll know, because I'll just start sleeping and I can't get out of bed. So, you know, what was there something like that you had during that moment, and then you switched with like full like assault ready to go? Or
it was pretty much very similar. Like I would just sleep in, not go to the gym, just be in my head all day. Like, bro, I'm so hopeless. I can't even make any money. I'm not even $1 online. Like, what am I even doing here? If I can't make it here, I'm never going to make it anywhere in life. So it was like a very dark time in my life, but luckily enough, those dark times are there to kind of teach you and to show you who you really are. Like if you're going to persevere, if you're going to push through until the other side, or if you're just going to give up and go home, like we saw in October, like last year. Yeah,
for sure. I feel like every guy that has like a bigger dream will get tested. Like they'll get put through what people call, I guess, the dark night of the soul, or that, like, you know, movie character mirror moment where like everything's at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And like the gods, or like God, will like test you and put you through that to make sure that you can like take on like the rewards or like the abundance that will follow if you push through that moment, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like the period of like going through those tough times and going through those rock bottom points, it is kind of like you say, it's like the universe is like testing you to see if you get what you really want. Cause like most people, they want what we have, like the life of freedom, travel, money, all that type of stuff. A lot of people want that, but not a lot of people want to go through what it takes to actually get there.
No.
So it's kind of like a test period, like an exam of life to see if you're going to pass a test or not to get to where you actually want to go.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to look back on it.
Yeah, 100%. So so you got your first commission, started making some money. What was the journey like? Was it like how many months to get to 5K, or did you think that you wanted to get to 10K? Because 10K is obviously a big number when people are starting out. So did you have a plan to get to a specific number after that, and how long did it take?
Yeah, so my initial goal before I left was to get to 10K a month online with remote sales, and it took me about 4 months to get there. The first few months I was setting, you know, making like 2K, 4K, 6K a month, not really getting close to 10K.
Yeah.
But then I went to Cebu City in the Philippines just to lock in on remote sales. I booked an Airbnb for a month.
Yeah.
Just to kind of dial in, no distractions, no hanging out, no networking, just me, myself, my laptop, just dialing in.
Yeah.
And I actually went back like 15 to 20 days earlier. Because the first few weeks in Cebu City of like dialing in, a new opportunity came up.
Yeah.
And I was able to transition from setting to closing within just 3 months of setting.
Yeah.
So I was able to just go from like 6K a month to like 12K a month in like a matter of a few weeks. So it's pretty insane.
Yeah. And how did that reflect in your lifestyle and like mental space, going from 6 to 12 and then being down to absolutely fuck all before that?
Yeah, it was, it felt like a roller coaster kind of, because I was going from like the bottom to like midway to the top in just a few months. So I like booked my one-way flight back to Bangkok, set up my 15-month visa, which was like 2K USD.
Yeah.
Got a very nice 20-meter ceiling apartment.
Yeah.
At the line, very nice apartment, like 2 stories with a bedroom and stuff. So I got it like the apartment I wanted, bought my girlfriend a few things, and just lived how I actually wanted to live. I think that was like at the point where I was like unlocking the doors of freedom to go where I wanted to go, spend my time how I want to, all while being able to absolutely print at the exact same time.
Yeah. So you were at that point living the lifestyle that you wanted when you were back at Red Lobster.
Yeah, pretty much. But like at the time at Red Lobster, like I couldn't bring any girls over. My parents are like pretty Christian. So I was like, they're very strict.
Yeah.
But now I could do what I wanted to do. So it was very fun.
Yeah. You unlocked that. You were living the dream life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And now you've continued to scale. You're working with Jake, one of the other guys in the network, and you're doing some coaching for other guys, right?
Yeah.
And so all that's enabled you to push further in terms of how much you're making each month.
Yeah, just scaling Jake's offer at the moment to at least $500,000 a month. I think that's the first goal for us, and then just kind of scale from there.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of going from like setting to closing to helping others to also scaling Jake's offer at the same time. So it's just kind of like a slow but gradual kind of leveling up process to get to that $100K a month.
Okay, interesting. So your goal is $100K a month?
Yeah, that's the next goal. And when I hit the $10K a month, and when I hit the $10K a month, I reward myself with like a Versace robe. I have like different rewards. You have like the same thing. Like if you hit a certain amount, you have a reward.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I got the Rolly after hitting, I think it was 40K USD, and then the Muay Thai fight. And I like buying shit like this, these glasses, and it's just different rewards. Like it feels like a Skyrim character, right? You come out here, you're like, it's like you're level 1 on RuneScape or Skyrim.
Yeah.
And like it's cool to treat yourself and like reward yourself with like trophies of entrepreneurship. Like sportsmen get trophies and medals. I feel like for entrepreneurs, I like to buy some shit. I always like to buy the best laptop, the best stuff that's going to help me make more money.
Yeah. Those always come back to you like pretty much instantly. Like those investments to level up yourself, like the best apartment, the best views, the best food, like those always come back tenfold, 100%.
Oh, definitely. What was I going to say? So why 100K a month? And before we get to that, so for me, for 5 years, I had that dream of making, I only wanted to make $1,000 a month. Because when I went to Bali when I was 25 or 6, I was like, this is amazing. Like I've got freedom. I'm at the beach. I've got my scooter. I've got no one to answer to. Like, why can't I always live like this? And then that's how I spent the next 5 years trying to get back to that point, which was making $1,000 online. And $1,000 was enough for a scooter, a backpackers. That was the price of freedom. By the time I got to Thailand, I was making $8K a month. We've scaled since then past that. But within the first 6 months, I actually felt quite depressed because I was like, I've spent 5 years grinding to get to this point. I've achieved it. And I actually felt quite lost. Like I was like, what do I do now? Like I've yearned for this and I've got it. And I felt lost. Have you had any experiences like that, or?
Yeah, 100%. And I think like life is like that for a reason. Like we're like kind of goal-driven creatures. So like when we don't have a goal in mind, that's when we kind of feel lost. Like we need like a journey, a destination to reach, and a journey to get there. Like we need that journey because otherwise we're just lost in the sauce, going about doing dumb stuff. But like I think having that journey is very important. So that's like why I want to hit 100K a month, because like right now, we already have achieved pretty much what a lot of people want to achieve in their lifetime in just like our age.
Yeah.
So like having that next goal is just like for fun. It's just something to do. It's like a journey just for the hell of it.
So once you hit 100K a month, what will be your next goal? Will it be like $1 million a month? Or for me, I don't want to get like the goal is the same as you, but after that, it's like, do I want to keep making more money, or do I want to pursue like travel goals or like relationship goals or family goals? So after you hit 100K, like what do you feel like could be next?
That's a good question. I haven't really looked past like the 100K a month mark yet, just because like that's the main goal I want to focus on right now. But after that, I'd feel like maybe saving $3 million in cash. I think that would be the next goal, just to start building investments, just having some passive income for like a lifetime. So that way, if I wanted to, the option is always there to retire. Because like $3 million in like a high yield savings account or like investments account, that's like what, like 10K a month, 15K a month, something like that. So that's pretty much all you need to do whatever you want, anywhere you want.
You're not going to put it into a Brett liquidity pool with Jack?
I mean, maybe if he sells me on it, possibly. That's in the cards.
Yeah, for sure. I guess where do you see yourself in like in 3 years?
3 years?
Or is that, haven't looked at that either? Just focused on 100 for now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm focused on 100 for now. I think Bangkok is definitely like the hometown for now, just until I hit 100K a month, and then maybe like Koh Samui. I really love Koh Samui.
Yeah.
Maybe Hua Hin. That was a very fire place. I need to probably go there a little bit more to test it out. But yeah, probably go somewhere different with better air quality. Yeah, for sure. Because like maybe this is good for like the short term, but like if you stayed here for like 20 years, 50 years, you're probably gonna like have some problems, of course.
Definitely.
But yeah, definitely like start traveling around a little bit more. After my girlfriend gets out of university, probably like go to Europe. I haven't been there yet. Have you been?
No, I'm planning to go this year as well.
Yeah, probably go try that place out, that kind of region.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, for you, like after the online space, you make your mark, you're done, want to get out. Do you want to start another like physical business, or do you just want to like chill, do Muay Thai, train?
Yeah, good question. So right now it's just scaling the business while reducing my time. So we've got some people in place, and the question's always like how quickly can you move? Like moving with speed is so important, and that's something I've been trying to do more of. But yeah, just get to the 100K a month mark and then kind of reassess. I love working. Like I'd happily work 12-hour days, drink coffee, but I just want to have the option to do a 4-hour work week, like Tim Ferriss would say. Travel Europe, go to Nepal.
Yeah,
I think right now I'm happy just working really hard, and then every now and then enjoying like trips to Koh Samui, or I want to do a meditation retreat in Nepal. Just enjoy the travel and see the rest of the world. And I think Thailand will definitely be like a base. Like Hua Hin is where my heart is. So I'll do some Europe travels over the next 16 weeks or so. Look for a new spot that might feel like home, and kind of reassess things. But I'd like to start a different type of business at some point. Business is absolutely like one of my passions. It kind of feels like war to me. Like I'm reading that book, 22 Strategies of War, and like maybe same for you. Like we can't fight people in real life. Like we can't go to war with like axes and shields and stuff. So there's like natural primal ways that you want to like express that kind of energy. And for me, it's business and a bit of Muay Thai. But did a bit of coaching like yourself. Didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not too sure. How about yourself? How's your coaching going?
It's going very good. I was able to take one of my students, Jan, from like $0 a month to $22,000 a month in like crazy. 30 days, 60 days. So I mean, that was absolutely insane to see. I was like, oh snap, I can actually get results for people.
Yeah.
So I think I've actually I'm starting to like coaching more than actually making YouTube videos, which is probably like not a good thing for like business wise, but I just really enjoy helping people to get to that next level and to actually see them win. Because like for myself, I wish I had that like one-on-one access to like of hand holding to get me to where I wanted to go. And I didn't really have that.
Yeah.
But being able to give that to someone else is like, it's more fulfilling in a way than just, just making money by myself and just traveling and actually seeing other people go from like $0 to their first 10,000 a month and so on.
Yeah.
I think it's just very powerful and kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I regret not doing it sooner. So for that 5-year journey, I was on $1,000 a month. 6 months out from leaving, I booked a ticket. So that put the pressure on. And then about 3 months before leaving, I came across this guy called Nick Wood, who was doing a very similar business model to what I was trying to do. But it was slightly different, which gave you more autonomy. And I was like, this is it. I just knew like this is the business model that I need to do. So I had about $30,000 to my name. I jumped on a sales call with him, and he said, "Yeah, the price is $10,000 US." And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, "Yeah, this has to happen." So I let go of a third of my net worth at the time, and I was already quitting my corporate job. So I was like, that's how sold I was on it.
Yeah.
And so, at the time of purchasing that mentorship for $10,000, I was making $1,000 USD a month. 8 weeks later, I was making $8,000 a month. And part of that process was reading a book called Think and Grow Rich, which I just read like just with blind ignorance. So I was like, I'm just going to follow this stuff. I don't care. Like I paid the 10K. I'll watch paint dry if that's what I'm told to do.
Yeah.
And then I was on 8K a month. I couldn't believe it. I was like slinging $1,000 a month retainers, getting people good results, and it was the best thing that I ever did. I regret not doing it sooner, to be honest. I think mentorship is, if I had to go back, I'd obviously do things earlier, but investing in mentorship is absolutely, I think, the best way to get to where you want to go the fastest. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels. You're going to be hanging out with people that are happy in their 9-to-5s, which is fine. You're going to be around your parents. You're going to be around society, and they're all thinking within a mastermind, right? Because a mastermind is a group of minds together, and you're just absorbed into those mindsets, like scarcity, or not so much scarcity, but just be comfortable. Complacent, yeah. All that money stuff like that doesn't really happen, which is the most vulnerable time when you're trying to make that change. So you're very susceptible to external subconscious thoughts, feelings, actions, etc. But when you commit with that mastermind or that group, and you pay a price, because you value what you pay for. If I paid $50 for that guy's mentorship, I wouldn't be in the same position. So that's super key, as well as saving up and booking a ticket. It's like being surrounded with good people that are thinking like, yeah, this stuff's possible, because then you're going to be the next guy that thinks it's possible, and then you'll be the next guy to be successful with, attaining that dream life or success that you want.
Yeah. Kind of like you're the average of like the 5 people you hang around. Yeah. So, I mean, you were like 29 when you first came out here, but like, was your like the average people you hung around back then? Like, were they all just thinking the same thoughts as like what you were kind of saying? Like everyone just settling for complacency. So like, what was like the spark in you to even make that change? Like, was it a YouTube video? Was it just like an inner kind of calling, or like, what was it that made you even branch out to see what was out there?
Well, it was firstly, I conceptualized the idea when I was in Bali like 5 years ago after uni or before uni. But yeah, it was turning 30. I was like, fuck, like 30, like shit. Like that's a decent number. I've had this dream for so long. I was partying, like going out, drum and bass gigs, and wasn't really locked in. And then, yeah, I was just like, nah, we just need to put everything into this. So I shut myself away from like everyone. I was actually quite a hermit. I actually had quite bad social anxiety as well, like, because all I would do was just go to work, come home, work on my business for 2 hours, go to the gym, Monday to Friday. Saturday, I would work all day on my business, the whole day, and then Sunday I'd rest. And I did that for, basically 6 months straight, sacrificed absolutely everything, just grinded. It was tough, but what I told myself was just, hard work, like 11-hour days and gym, just that self-belief. And then just one day at a time. Just wake up. All you got to do is just get through today. Just do your best today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Yeah.
And what was your mindset? I know you went to university. Was that like for 4 years, 5 years?
It was about 4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
During that time, like what was like your mindset and group like? Was it just like kind of going through the motions, or like what was it like? Because it was kind of similar to me. Like with college, it was just like doing what everyone else was doing and just having a good time.
Yeah. Well, I guess in New Zealand and most countries in the West, after you finish school, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to go to uni, get a piece of paper. You're going to be a tradesman, work in construction, or you're going to be a bum, basically. And so I just went to uni because that's what I was kind of like pushed to do, or just inclined to do. The first year went all good. The second year, I got into like calculus, physics, and I was having an existential crisis, like quite depressed for a period of time as well. Like, most of my friends would just go out, party and drink, which is cool. Like, I think that's great. Like, if you're young, like, go do all that shit. But yeah, I was just like, fuck, like, this sucks, basically. I failed the entire semester. Mum and dad, withdrew all support. They're like, if you're not going to do well at university, then we're not really going to support you. That was their way of like trying to keep me, to move forward with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically failed everything, depressed, gutted, went to Aussie for a bit, had a nice like 4-month break where I just let go of some stuff and just chilled, worked in a restaurant, washing dishes, doing some jiu-jitsu and like surfing and stuff in Aussie. Then I came back like very renewed, bit more vigor, and I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna get this uni bullshit done. I'm gonna do the easiest major so that I'll get my piece of paper and my parents are going to pay for the degree. So I just chose marketing and management. Super easy. Got it done, ticked it off. And that's when I went to Bali after that. And I was like, fuck, like this is legit.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to go back to Auckland and, just be a fucking NPC and do something I don't want to do?
Yeah, so that's when you got like your first taste of like what you really wanted back in Bali.
Yeah.
Like that's where like, oh shit, this is actually what I want, not this university stuff that's teaching me something that I might not even use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I apply absolutely nothing that I learned at uni apart from one concept called blue ocean strategy, which is basically trying to go into a market where it's blue ocean instead of red ocean. Apart from that, I haven't learned anything that I've used.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff I've learned running my own business and over the last 2.5 years is probably like 10 years worth of like the hardest study you could ever imagine at like the hardest university.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly the same for me. I went to university for like business school and I was learning from like a fake guru, like a business professor who was driving a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Probably was in debt herself and was teaching me how to make millions from business. It just didn't make sense.
Nah. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got the piece of paper.
Yeah.
because that's how I saw that actually getting a digital marketing career would help me with my own business. So that's why we grinded it out. But yeah.
How was the college lifestyle for you? I know you said you're like, partying sometimes, but was like the friends in college, like did they have any goals for themselves, or were they just, having a good time digging into the pleasures?
Oh, we were having a great time. I had great mates back then. We used to go to, we'd study, we'd get our work done.
Yeah.
Had heaps of mates. We used to go to the gym together. And
bang some chicks?
Yeah, of course. A little bit. I mean, not as much as you'd think, like
yeah.
At college. I stayed at a college in Auckland. I didn't travel out to, which I kind of regret not going to out of town college, because you're still at mum and dad's house.
Yeah.
You're just taking the bus into university and just getting on the piss with your mates, smoking some weed after, smoking some ciggies and stuff. But it was cool though. Like, throughout the week we'd just get the grades done. I'd be training super hard. I'd be working at my shitty job at Pack and Save, which is like a Walmart type grocery place, just pushing trolleys on Sunday, just questioning life. College was pretty average. Had some good times with some good bros. But yeah, they were all, some of them doing their own thing. I guess that they were, some of them were a little bit lost as well. Like, what are we doing? And some of them wanted to have a career in like law or like business and stuff. And some people want to have that lifestyle. That's all good.
Yeah.
I was like, nah. Like after Bali, I was just like, nah. Like there's so much. There's way more that I want to explore. I think we only get kind of one life, so my mindset's, I just want to explore as much as I can. Like see everything, like smell everything, like etc.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was the same for me in college. Like a lot of my friends smoking weed, drinking, partying, which was pretty fun, to be honest. Banging chicks, all that type of stuff. But I mean, it gets pretty tiresome after a while. It's just like a loop cycle.
Yeah.
And like for me, I had to like ask my mom for money, because I was like playing basketball in college at the time, so I didn't have like time for a job. Yeah. So like all the money I was spending on like weed, drinks, alcohol, all that type of stuff, I was just getting from my parents, which kind of like detriments my self-image as a man, just because like I'm not providing for myself. I'm still being babied even at like 18, 19 years old.
That's great that you had the self-awareness to realize that. For me, I didn't really understand what that was subconsciously doing to my like confidence. And I think that's why I stayed in Auckland for so long.
So like someone out there maybe watching this at this point, like what would you say to someone who's like maybe near your age, who's like, they have like this inner calling, like this whisper in their ear that there's more out there, but they're still a little bit too scared and they're a little hermit crab to even go out there and try it. So like, what would you say to them?
Well, firstly, I don't think your age matters at all. Like, earlier the better to a degree, but there's things that you'll be learning in your early 20s or even late 20s or even early 30s that you can still apply to your travels. But I think it's a pretty straightforward system. I'm a systems guy these days, and my system for other people would be, first D for definition, define what that dream life looks like, define how much money you need, start saving as much as possible, start looking at how you could make money online. And to be honest, I'd absolutely, like if everything turned to shit tomorrow, I'd be hitting up you or Tanner or Sean for remote sales mentorship instantly. So start with remote sales. Like I do coaching for local lead generation and what I do, and it's hard for me to be like, hey, you should do this. It's like, no. Go just do remote sales. Just get to 10K a month with a mentorship. So you've defined your dream life. You've started saving, so you've got a buffer for when you make the jump. Don't wait too long. Get a mentorship for remote sales, or if you've already got skills in graphic design or Google Ads, then just do that. And then give yourself 6 to 12 months, 3 to 12 months. That depends, how young you are or what responsibilities you have, and then send it.
Fair enough.
If it all turns to shit, then you can go back.
Repeat the process.
Repeat the process, or go back to that life and be grateful for it. It's like when I left Hua Hin to go to Bangkok. I was in Hua Hin like, fuck, there's more to this than just being in Hua Hin. Like, I don't want to be an old man here, and because there's quite a retiree population.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I got to go to Bangkok. I got to be a G and all this other stuff. And I went to Bangkok. I was like, no, this actually sucks. So I went back to Hua Hin and I can sleep well, like knowing that I gave it a try. And it wasn't what I thought it would be. It's the same with doing this. If it turns to shit, you don't like it, you can go back, but you can sleep easily knowing that you've given it a try.
Yeah, 100%. So like you never know what's on the other side until you take the leap, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. And like with what you're doing now, like living in Hua Hin, like compared to like maybe some of your college mates or like some of your friends back in like where you're from, like do any of them like kind of hate on you? Do they say like you're scamming people or like any of that, or like are they just like all supportive?
No, none of there's not really hate or anything. I've drifted away I've drifted away from some friends, still keep in contact with some friends, but yeah, life just kind of goes on back home. Like, one of my best mates has had a kid, and like I'm so happy for him, and I can't wait to be a little bit older and like have my own kid and like play with him and his kid and stuff. So yeah, I try. Yeah, don't think about it too much, to be honest. I'm just out here just
living.
Got so much on, just living. Yeah.
And how does it feel for you that you're able to like inspire someone like Jared, where he like broke up with his girlfriend and stuff, and was kind of feeling lost?
Yeah.
From what I heard, and then he just looked at you, was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And he came out here. That would probably change his life. So how does that like feel for you to be able to like change lives without maybe you not even knowing?
Yeah, for sure. That's like one of the most fulfilling things, is like helping others like Jared. And when I first made the jump over to Vietnam, he saw that happening while he was at his corporate job of 5 years with his girlfriend. And he's like, fuck, like, you're actually doing this. Yeah. And then he saw me overseas for 6 months, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to do the same thing, bro. So he quit his job. He had about 30K USD saved. He moved to Vietnam and then just got an English teaching job. He was making about $1,000 a month. He's like, fuck, like, I'm in a new place. This is all cool, but I'm still going to like work 40 hours a week for this English teaching job. I was like, bro, just do what I do. I'll just teach you how to do it. And we got him to about 6 to 7K USD a month in about 8 to 9 months. And it's awesome because now I've got another bro that I've got, in the trenches with me. Like, we're coming up for raids from Hua Hin to Bangkok, and I've got a bro with me in the van printing, and it's just awesome to move from trying to forge this new life to like living it, and then being like a leader, so to speak, and being able to bring like abundance and bring bring Jared value and other guys like the knowledge and skill sets and mindsets that they need, and like help them live a great life as well. And then we're all just fending for ourselves. So it just feels like you're like in a tribe, like a Viking. Exactly. Yeah, like you got all the tools you need in order to succeed, and you just kind of handed them out to like Jared and a few other people. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like you've built your own like Viking tribe, and you're just out marauding and like having a mean time. Yeah, fucking what did we do? We caught up with you guys in Hua Hin. Me and Jared have been through Cambodia, like firing RPGs, and it's awesome. Yeah, fair enough. So I mean, in terms of like your plans for like the upcoming next few weeks, like were you just gonna like lock in Hua Hin, or? Yeah, locking in Hua Hin. Recently hired a manager 2 weeks ago, so just getting her onboarded, getting all that systematized, locking in for Hua Hin for the next 5 weeks, and I'm doing the Ha Giang Loop. That's the correct saying. Ha Giang Loop in Vietnam, which is one of like the most beautiful motorbike tours in the world. So that's 5 days in like the mountains, just on a bike with some of my other mates that live in Bangkok. Yeah. And then back to Hua Hin, chill back for a bit, and then we're gonna do the 10-week kind of adventure backpacking trip, because life now is like, it's just life now, right? Just side quest. Yeah, like for you it's probably the same. Like life in Bangkok's just life in Bangkok now. Like we've both unlocked this lifestyle that we used to think was impossible, and I'm just kind of missing that sense of like adventure and new smells and sights and stuff. So off to Europe, Nepal, Turkey, Greece, Egypt, maybe find a nice seaside town in Greece. I love Greek philosophy and like Spartan stuff like that. That I just feel like if in another life I was like a Spartan or like an Athenian philosopher or something. So I'm really excited to go there and just take it all in. Yeah. And I mean, in terms of like going back to like the mastermind thing in Koh Samui where you like took some shrooms, like when was the last kind of shroom trip you've had? Was it like a few years ago? Yeah, last shroom trip was probably before I left New Zealand. I haven't done them in Thailand yet, but it's definitely on the cards. I might do it in Hua Hin with some mates in May. But I remember having one a couple months before I left. I think 5 months before I left, and was at a batch with a good friend. And had some pretty interesting insights. You know, when I trip, I don't like to just like take them and like laugh and like be stupid and stuff. Like I like to like be very intentional. Like let's get a nice place, make sure everything's sorted, get the food sorted, you know, and then just think and like postulate and just see what comes to me. And I actually uncovered like quite a lot of things that are really helpful for like self-awareness, and I think set me up for the 6. No, it wasn't the main like cause or anything, but it was a good time.
It's a little tool to help you a little bit.
Yeah, I like to do it back when I was in New Zealand. I like to do it every like 2 years or so, like during the winter, just have a little like a mind refresh, because you think in different perspectives sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I think shrooms are like a great tool. I mean, they can obviously be used the wrong way if you're just using them to party and all that type of stuff for like pleasure, but they're also could be, on the other hand, like a tool to help you realize some things, or like think in new avenues, think in new ways to help you maybe uncover something that might be troubling you. Yeah,
I think my perspective on mushrooms has changed. Like back then, that was my thoughts as well. I think these days, like the way I think is that I don't need anything. Not need anything, but anything that is like external to me, like I don't feel inclined to need or want. But I'm still gonna do them in May just to you know, it's been a while. But I mean, I used to vape, I used to like party, smoke some weed. These days it's pretty much just coffee. That's all I really do.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Just coffee and maybe the odd mushroom trip.
Yeah, fair enough. So I mean, in terms of the network that you've kind of are in right now, like out here in Bangkok and like all over the world, like what would you say is like the number one factor in terms of like being surrounded by people who are like maybe at your level or a few levels above you, like being surrounded by people like that are like-minded to you, instead of just like, you know, meeting up with like random people who are like parties, doing degenerate stuff, and just actually surrounding yourself with those type of people? How would you say that kind of have helped you?
Oh, that's probably apart from that's probably the single most instrumental thing to like the last year was joining Jack Hopkins' New Elite Network. The main reason I joined that was I was just traveling around like feeling super lonely, because I think that's one of the cons of the digital nomad lifestyle. It can be quite lonely, and I'm usually quite introverted, so I don't meet that many people like, well, unless I really try. So joining that was mainly just to make some friends, and because most of the people that you meet in like Bali or Phuket or whatever are just on the piss for a bit and they go home. But yeah, joining that, I've built like some amazing friendships like yourself, being surrounded by other guys, especially guys like Jack, who are like crushing it, just being around that mastermind again. Like, you know, what are they thinking? Like discipline, like business, just pushing everything like to the next level. Yeah. It's been easily the best thing.
Yeah, same for me. I think it's like very good for like beginners to like join these types of networks, so that way you can meet up with people who are like levels above you, so you can learn what they're doing, what they're not doing, and incorporate that into your life, so that way you can ultimately level up yourself. Because like I think if we hadn't had that network and had to fend for ourselves, we probably wouldn't be where we are today.
No, for sure. I probably would have been just slowly grinding up from 10K a month, but quite quickly with Jack and Bill and the way they're thinking, the books they're recommending, and just the way that their beliefs are, you get pulled into that. A great kind of concept that I learned from Bill and Jack was the reverse manifestation technique, or the, you know, future state technique. It's like, okay, like picture that goal for the end of the year, like the number that you want to make, and then starting from today, you just embody that version of yourself. And I did that after joining New Elite. 3 months after that, it was New Year's Day, and I had my plans set. I knew what I needed to do, who I needed to be, and then within like 6 months, I hit my 1 year goal so quickly. Fought Muay Thai, smashed business out. It was great.
And I think it was like 2 weeks ago or less, like we stayed at like one of the best villas in Koh Samui, like the 9-bedroom mansion. Like what kind of value do you see in like going to those type of events where you're able to like max out the frequency, stay at the best villas of the best, and surround yourself with killers, and just, you know, just for a few days, just kind of feel what it feels like to be at the top, so that when you come back to reality, you can kind of see like the next step from like where you currently are.
100%. Oh, firstly, it was just a great time, like having an amazing time with some good dudes and making some friendships. But yeah, being in that villa, experiencing that, it just broadens your kind of perspective and like the potential that there is and the levels that there are, like when it comes to the material side. And it kind of rubs off on your mindset. Like you're just thinking more abundantly. You know, it's like, cool, like I'm here in Koh Samui having a mean time. I'm going to go back to Hua Hin, get back on the grind. And then you're grinding towards kind of something more. And
yeah. It's just like a cheat coding to that next level and then seeing what it's like, then coming down. It's like, oh man, I got to get there. So it's kind of like for me, it's more of like an eye opener to see like what's actually possible. Cause it's like very easy to get settled in Thailand just because like it's so cheap. You can just survive, be comfortable and be complacent, just like our friends back home in like the 9-to-5s.
Yeah.
So I think it's always good to just go out there, level yourself up in terms of like your reality for maybe even just a few days.
Yeah.
So that way you can get that kind of inner spark again to see like, okay, well, I'm not at the top level yet. I need to keep grinding. So it's like really cool to stay at places like that. Yeah.
It's like a powerlifting technique where you do a bench press, but you only do like the bottom portion where you put the chains on so that at the peak of the bench press, you're doing more than at the bottom. So when you do your normal bench press, like you're like adapted to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like bench or squat, something like that.
Cool. Not too shabby.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Cheers for catching up.
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure, bro. Nice seeing you.
Hard out.
Cup.
Come on, Cup.